Hello, my name is Joyce Donaldson, and I'm the President and CEO of the Carpinteria Valley Chamber of Commerce. Today, we are so pleased to have Kathy and Mike Dawson from Big Red Crane Company with us to answer a few questions so that the audience can get to know them a little bit better. Hello.
Good morning, Joyce.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We're so thrilled that you're here today. What was it like when you found out that you were nominated and awarded the Small Business of the Year?
We were very, very excited, and we thank everyone who voted for us. We're very humbled by it.
I agree.
Well, tell me a little bit about Big Red Crane Company. Start from the beginning.
Well, Big Red Crane Company started its first day on August 14th, 2014. I had worked for another crane company for approximately 26 years in multiple capacities, and I needed to change my livelihood, and I went out and bought my first crane in early August, and we put it to work in 2014, and pretty much the rest is history.
Wonderful. And I understand you're a husband-wife team. What's that like working together, Kathy?
Well, I affectionately call him my boss, but reality is he's not my boss. It's been a work in progress. We're a pretty well-oiled machine at this point, but we enjoy working together, and it's our baby, so we really nurture it.
So the first year and a half, Kathy had a full-time job at a local law firm, and I pretty much ran it as a one-man operation until I got up to about 3 employees and 3 cranes. And then Kathy left the law business to assist the crane company because we could not operate by myself alone.
I see. And what is it like around the dinner table? Is it conversation about work?
Unfortunately, most of the time it is because I'm still working, a solid 10 to 12 hours every day.
So I understand your family has a long history here in Carpinteria. Would you like to expand on that, Kathy?
Sure. My family moved here in 1966. My dad started a dairy here. We're at across from the junior high. And then my mother was one of the founders of the Carpinteria swimming pool. And my stepdad and mom then owned Carpinteria Sharpening for about 20 years here in Carpinteria.
Oh, wonderful. Wow. That sounds amazing. It sounds like you had a wonderful childhood.
Carpinteria is a wonderful city.
Wonderful. And Mike?
Well, we don't want to forget that we both attended Aliso School together and graduated from the Carpenter High School in 1978. But our family came here in 1961. Like most families in Carpinteria, we were visiting the state park all the way through the 40s and 50s, and our family found this quaint little town here, and a gentleman by the name of Ralph Brown challenged my dad in 1958 and said, if you got a real estate license, come to Carpinteria and I'll put you to work. And so 4 years later, or 3 years later, we came to Carpinteria. So our town is Carpinteria. Our family's been here. I have 7 brothers and sisters total, and we were all raised here, and it's just been a great community to grow up in.
So I know you're busy a lot. You have a lot of different interests and involvement in the community. Would you like to discuss that with us?
Yes, I would. I think the number one thing that I'm extremely proud of is my signature event for the Carpinteria Lions Club. We just completed last month our 10th annual Festival of Trees. We sold over 39,000 tickets at $1 each with some support from the Carpinteria Education Foundation. We ended up giving $43,500 back to the community. This is, like I said, our 10th year. We've, in total, have been almost $200,000 we've given back to Carpinteria through the Festival of Trees. I'm also involved in supporting the Carpinteria Boys and Girls Club, whatever they need, whether it was Rich Medell or Don Hall, we're here to help them. And then, true to my heart, I didn't go back to college till I was 31 years old. So I'm a trades guy. I believe in the trades. I want to take care of the 70% of the kids that don't go to college. And so I'm a member of Trade Art of Santa Barbara, and our focus is to grab those kids that don't go to college and let them know that they can be a good, productive member of the community and learn a trade, and the trades pay just as well, if not as better than college-educated individuals.
Well, that certainly is commendable. Thank you for your service. Kathy, what are your hobbies?
Well, we've taken up golf, and we have large families, so we spend a lot of time, entertaining family, and we have 4 grandchildren, and so we're busy. We're busy a lot with family.
Oh,
I'd
wonderful. Boys, girls? How old are the grandchildren?
The grandchildren are 5, 4, 3, and 1, and 1 boy.
So, Mike, how long have you been working in Carpinteria?
Well, that's a great question. I started shoveling sand down at the Sandyland Shores when I was 10 years old. I worked picking lemons for Dick Underwood. My first real job was at Sambo's, which is now the IHOP here in Carpinteria, and I started working there when I was 14 and a half years old. I moved over to Santa Claus Lane when I was 15. I actually drove the train there, and I worked there as a busboy and as a cook and a waiter, moving up into the reindeer room. So I have many years in Carpinteria there. Then I went to work at the Carpinteria Valley Lumber Yard. The interesting family fact is my wife worked there, I worked there, her mother worked there, her father-in-law worked there, my sisters worked there, and all my friends have worked there over the years. So, and a lot of the first businesses that I met were through the Carpinteria Valley Lumber. And so I've been in Carpinteria working for most of my life. I spent 26 years in Goleta, but I lived in Carpinteria and commuted back and forth. So Carpinteria has just been the basis of where we learned our good work ethic.
Wonderful. Thank you. And what are you passionate about, Kathy?
Oh my gosh. I love my family, and I love our friends, and we travel, and I love giving back to the community. I love volunteering. A lot of it has to do with what Mike is involved with, and I'm kind of in the background a little bit, but I love it. It's really, it feeds your soul, and we really both feel that way. So
Great.
Whatever we can do, we do.
Thank you. And Mike, what keeps you up at night in this crazy, ever-evolving world that we live in now? What keeps you up at night?
Well, I'm not really worried about this crazy evolving world. I worry about how to keep my 8 employees busy. And by running a good business, by being a business owner that cares, who answers the phone, who takes care of the customer, I know that I can keep my guys busy every single day. And that's kind of a testimony to why we've gone from 1 crane to 8 cranes in 6 years. So I try not to worry about things that I can't control. We try to worry about how we can take care of what we're responsible for.
That's a great answer. Thank you. And also, Kathy, how do you maintain that work-life balance?
We are working on it. It's a work in progress.
Of course.
And it's probably the most difficult challenge of being a husband-wife owning a business. It's very difficult.
Oh, I bet. Thank you. Can you tell us what type of services Big Red Crane Company offers?
Yes, Big Red Crane has 8 cranes, from a very small crane that does your little HVAC units that you might find on your house, to the big units that you might see on a hotel or a local business like Albertsons or Smart and Final. We also do custom rigging, so if you have heavy machinery, there's a new company in town that's moving into the old Kilovac building today, where we're moving in their big, huge printing presses, to custom jobs to a very high-end customer who wanted a rock moved off the side of the mountain into his front yard so he could carve a hot tub. So we'll do just about anything, and that's why our motto is, it's not just a job, it is an adventure.
And final questions would be, how are you preparing for the new year? We're in a new decade. How are you preparing for that?
Well, we are still located in Carpinteria with our first yard. I've expanded to Buellton, and I've expanded to Ventura. And currently I am moving into a new facility in Ventura that has electricity and buildings, and it's going to have a workshop for working on our own equipment. So 2020 is looking really good for us. We just hired another employee last month who is the key to trying to take the 2 12-hour days that we both put in and try to get it down to 10 to help us so we can enjoy ourselves some more.
Wonderful. Sounds like you have an exciting year ahead, as we all do. And what final comments might you have just for the viewership? Maybe something I didn't touch on. What would you like to say, Kathy?
I really would like to say something. We waited to start our own business until we really didn't have a choice. We had to make a decision. And I would tell people to follow your dreams. Don't be afraid to take a risk. It's the most gratifying, hardest thing you'll ever do, but you'll never regret it. And I wish, I don't think we should have done it sooner, but we're really glad we did it. And it's not something you wait for. So you only have
It's
today.
a wonderful sentiment. Absolutely. And Mike, what are your final comments?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the Chamber very much for choosing us. We are very proud to represent Carpinteria with the Small Business Award. I'm very proud of being a Carpinterian. My dad was Carpinterian of the Year in 1972. He instilled in the ethics of work and how to take care of the community and be part of the community to all of my brothers and sisters. And wherever we live, we still do that to this day. And so that to me is just as important as having a good business is how you give back to the community. And so we're very proud of that particular trait that we've been passed down through the generations.
Absolutely. Well, this honor is very well deserved with both of you, and we know why you're chosen as Small Business of the Year. Congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you all at the Community Awards Banquet on January 25th, Saturday, at the Boys and Girls Club. Hello, my name is Joyce Donaldson. I'm President and CEO of the Carpinteria Valley Chamber of Commerce. We're gearing up for our Community Awards Banquet on January 25th, 2020 at the Boys and Girls Club. We're honored to have Grant and Beth Cox of Grant Cox Enterprises, Inc. with us here today, and they have been honored as Large Business of the Year 2019. Grant, what was it like when you received that phone call?
I'll tell you, it was probably a phone call that I needed to receive. For that day was already crazy and felt like you were getting beat up. And then my wife calls me. She says, by the way, I need to let you know some good news. And I said, what is it, Beth? She's like, you've been awarded Large Business of the Year. And I was just in awe.
Great.
Just speechless.
Aw, that's
And
great.
it took me a week to consume it all in and understand.
Well, let's discuss what Grant Cox Enterprise Inc. companies, what all it involves and encompasses.
Well, I like to look at it to simplify it. If it's outside of your walls of your house and your front door, we take care of it. We handle it. We pride ourselves on making an emotional experience around your property, outside your doors and your windows of your house.
Wonderful. And Beth, how long have you been involved in the business?
Well, Grant started his company in 1999. He named it Tar Pits Gardening and Landscapes when he was a little grommet,
1999.
as they would say in Carpinteria. He went before school every morning and surfed tar pits. And when his family's flower company, Carpinteria Wholesale Flowers, then Shipwright Floral went bankrupt, and Grant took over, trying to bring it out of the weeds, pun intended. Thought, you know what, I'm going to just go start out on my own, and found a couple of guys on the corner at Beach Liquor and started in his, was it your 67?
76.
76, sorry.
79.
79 Chevy that he purchased from Ray Cider with two guys that were brothers from Washington State that had moved from Mexico. And one of them is still with us, Rika, our #1 rock star. And named it Tar Pits Gardening Landscapes, and about 30 plus employees later decided that 30 maintenance accounts later, he decided that he wanted a little bit more than just maintenance accounts, and got his landscape contractor's license and created Greenleaf Landscapes, which is his middle name and family name. And so I started at the inception. We were married, and I left my law firm of 10 years in 2014, and came to the company to assist, but also to be with our children who were busy and had lots of extracurricular activities, and Grant was getting busier, and so we just kind of came together, and now we're where we are.
Great. And I know your family plays a large part of your life. Would you like to expand on that, Grant?
Family meaning the family of Carpinteria, or my mother-in-law who sits on the school board?
Your blood family.
My blood family. So my blood family, I was unfortunately abandoned at age 2 by my real blood parents, and had gotten lucky enough to move to Carpinteria in the hopes of getting our family back together, and then only to have my mother full circle back and end up letting us go. We were going to move back to Bakersfield, and I had made a best friend in Aliso Elementary School with Justin Lauer, and my brother made a best friend with Justin Lauer's brother, Aaron Lauer. So my mom was going to take us back to Bakersfield, and my mom, Pat Lauer, Aaron and Justin's mom, had mentioned to my real blood mother that, hey, we'll watch the boys until you get back on your feet. They obviously don't want to leave Carpinteria, and we want to help you out, so we'll watch the kids till you get back on your feet. Well, my mom never got back on her feet. So that was a huge impact in my life, to have someone in Carpinteria who represents Carpenter the way I always saw it, just let me into their home to try and give us a better life.
So taking a step back, who would you consider your role model or your mentor?
Who would I? I would consider, as cheesy as it sounds, is probably going to be a lot of the kids that I grew up with in Carp, the inspiration friends that I had who were best friends, whether it be, Brandon Sider in the Upbeat, or Ray Martinez on the football field, or a teacher within the class, one of my favorite classes, which could be Miss Unruh or David Fleistra. That's where I think I really got attached to, was the demeanor of the personalities in Carpinteria. It was just unheard of. Wow. We were treated like family, as long as you would immediately be trusted when you got to meet that person. And all you had to do was just maintain that trust, and you were treated like family. And wow. To me, that was really important, because I had an abandoned family.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Beth, tell me about your community involvement.
Well, like Grant, I really am passionate about our town of Carpinteria. My family is originally from the San Fernando Valley, and my dad grew up in a little beach town, by the sea in Southport, England. And I had my second birthday in Carpinteria. And we would either come and rent condos in Carpinteria, and then later in my elementary school years, we would camp at the State Park Campground, which I now live above in Concha Loma. And so my dad had always strived to move us to Carpinteria, and then in 1992 purchased a home in Carpinteria and moved our entire family up here. I was a groupie of the Upbeat, and that's how I met my husband.
That was my next question.
Yeah. Who's the Upbeat?
And I went to San Francisco State, then went to law school, and just became incredibly passionate about volunteering and giving back, most especially after my dad passed of melanoma cancer. it was one of those, I was passionate prior to that, but really felt the community and the love of this town, kind of like from the ocean to our Franklin Trail, big, huge hug of community. Not looking for it, but it definitely came in so many different ways. And I was awake before my dad passed, but definitely woke up after he passed 13 years ago, this January 19th, and really didn't want others to feel the way that my sisters and my mom and my entire family felt with such ignorance around cancer. And so really grasped the American Cancer Society, and not just the American Cancer Society, but just wanting to make people feel as though they had a place to grieve, or they had a place to feel community. And so I don't know how I came up with all these different crazy ideas of the Carp Heart sign and the Hope sign, and really becoming involved with Relay for Life, and making sure that people felt love and community and support in any area that they needed it. So I definitely have a passion for making sure that people are loved and feel the community that Carpinteria gives in so many different ways. We have such a plethora of different nonprofits here in Carpinteria that do so much, and there are so many incredible people that have such incredible giving hearts. And I'm not trying to keep up with them, but just, trying to make people know and feel that there is love and there is support in any space that you're in, especially here in this town, coming from a place of a lot of people. You are definitely loved in this community.
Great. Thank you for sharing that heartfelt sentiment. Grant.
Yes.
How do you maintain a work-life balance? I know you're super busy with business and family and your band. How do you maintain that? Rigorous schedule.
I question now. I think I have a passion for what I do. I love what I do. So for one, that's the enjoyment of life, is picking a job that you love what you do. And I don't know if it's from the engagement with potential clients or existing clients or employees. But that's, that'll be a continual question that I'll ask myself. I am 50, which is weird. But I also feel that I used up a lot of my hours of having fun. I think I used up all my surfing hours. I don't have any more left, unless it's Jelly Bowl, middle of summer, chest high. I will always continue to play saxophone, which is balance in my life. It helps me escape. So that's a good technique of how to balance life out and balance work. And not to mention my kids.
Absolutely.
And then those are the only things I need. I like life to be simple, not complicated.
And Beth, I know you do Marvelous Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Sensational Saturday, Wondrous Wednesdays. You just have
Thirsty
a
Thursdays.
plethora of information to share on social media. How do you maintain that, work and life and family? When do you have time to do all of this?
Middle of the night.
A lot of people ask me that, and I do sleep, but I again, going back to my dad passing, he lived life, and he really taught me to live life, as well as my mom, Sally Green, and you can sleep when you're dead. But I have this passion for really making sure that we all live, and taking my children on cultural vacations, and balance is really key, and enjoying the incredible beauty of our town, Rincon and the Bluffs and Franklin Trail, and there's so many different areas in Carpinteria. And I feel like with social media, it's kind of a twofold, because it can be a really not so good thing. But I feel like I wouldn't have been able to fundraise and do as many things that I've been able to do for our community without social media. And so I pride myself on being incredibly positive on social media and not getting into the nastiness of politics or this or that, and trying to, keep it to a degree of we live in this incredible place, and please, step back and breathe and enjoy our amazing sunsets and sunrises and moonsets and moonrises and the ocean and, so many different things. I'm just taking a walk with my crazy dogs in the morning, So yeah.
Well, we appreciate all those positive Facebook posts and everything that you do for the community. You're both just truly amazing. Who is and what does Grant Cox Enterprises, Inc. do?
Good question. Just kidding. Grant Cox Enterprises is a full-service landscape maintenance company, which we started in 1999. I bought a truck, a mower, and started pulling weeds and cutting lawns. So I was inspired by that to be better. So we now maintain 80-plus acre estates, 80-plus acre resorts, right down to the Carpinteria blue-collar residents, because they're what made my company get to where it is today. We also pride ourselves in drainage work. Irrigation is a constant mastery that we are so in awe over. Our waterway woes would never go away, so we'll never stop trying to use water efficiently. We have a huge passion for trees, large trees, small types of grasses, plants, shrubs. The list goes on. We also have a passion for creating a space in your backyard that creates an emotional experience. So you're in your living room or your kitchen and it just drags you out there where you can repeat the way your experience is in the house outside. So we love Mother Nature. And we pride ourselves on service and accountability and value.
Wonderful. You're hired.
Sold.
So, Grant, what keeps you up at night?
Oh, back in the day, I would say I sleep better now, but back in the day, I would say what kept me up at night is, okay, where's payroll gonna come from? Where's I gotta pay my gas bill so my trucks could run. I have to pay, for my kids' food. How do I manage all of the money to make it all work? Who can I beg to borrow from? Those were things that kept me up at night. And sometimes I would just stress myself to sleep.
Thank you. Tell me, how has the city of Carpinteria been to work with? Business friendly?
Carpinteria is always business friendly. I think Carpinteria is such an amazing place. Back when I went to Aliso School back in the 70s, our mayor would go mow the lawn at the schools.
Wow.
And that inspired the heck out of me. I do sit on the architecture review board for Carpinteria, and it's an honor. Although there are always challenges because we want to be able to be sensitive to everybody's thoughts and feelings. And I think we need to emphasize more on what the community is speaking to us about. My only purpose of wanting to be on the architecture review board would be to serve my community at what I think they want based on me growing up here for so many years. So I want to represent my community, what I think works, not someone who comes from out of LA or out of the state and moves here just to do an investment property and doesn't even consider the Carpinteria natives. So I see Carpinteria as a community, as a city, has the same theories and beliefs that I have. So that makes me feel that Carpinteria really cares about the community.
Well, thank you for your service. That's
You're welcome.
amazing.
Thank you.
Beth, as you prepare for the new year, do you have any particular resolutions or areas of interest for the new year?
My family wants me to slow down. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I resolved in 2020 to slow down a little bit, but to continue where we have come from and where we are today. We feel incredibly fortunate, and as Grant and I both have said, there's such a footprint of what got us to where we are, pun intended, growing relationships. That's our company motto, and being able to give back in the way that we are today makes us feel incredibly fortuitous and successful, giving back to so many that were there for my husband in so many different ways, and supported us in so many different ways in times where we were struggling with our business and family and emotions and all the way around. And so to be able to continue to do that in so many different ways with so many different organizations makes us feel really, really incredible. And being chosen for this honor is pretty amazing.
Well, you're very special people. Thank you. So any final words that you'd like to say to our viewership, Grant?
I would like to say, I would like to tell the viewers, Grant Cox Enterprises, Inc., Greenleaf Landscapes, Tar Pits, I am a product of Carpinteria. I could not have made my company who it is today without growing up in Carpinteria. And there are so many wonderful, awesome, amazing, honest, trustworthy tradesmen that come out of Carpinteria, that we all work on the same jobs and we all have the same theories and beliefs.
Small Business of the Year, Mike Dawson, Big Red Crane Company, one of our vendors and one of our coworkers. Yeah, I mean, we've done so many jobs with him, and we're so thankful.
Just don't ever let anybody tell you you can't, or try and discourage you that it's going to be hard. If you can be lucky enough to find a passion that you love, and just tell yourself every day that you will and you can and you will. Hard work. But support of a community such as Carpinteria is what I credit my success for.
Thank you so much, Beth and Grant. We so appreciate you being here with us today, and we look forward to celebrating you on January 25th, Saturday, at the Boys and Girls Club at our Community Awards Banquet. Hello, my name is Joyce Donaldson, and I'm the President and CEO of the Carpinteria Valley Chamber of Commerce. We're super excited about our upcoming Community Awards Banquet on September 25th at the Boys and Girls Club. At the event, we honor 2 educators, and now I'm super proud to have Andrea Edmondson from Canalino School here, who was just pronounced Educator of the Year. How did that feel?
It was a shock, and I was so honored and touched when I got the message that I was
We're
chosen.
super excited to have
thank
you. How long have you been in the classroom?
This is my 16th year
Wow.
in Carpinteria Unified District. I've taught kindergarten. I'm in kindergarten right now for 9 years. I started as a computer teacher at Aliso and Canalino, and then I've taught every grade except first grade in those 16 years.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to school at Canalino.
Wow.
And then I went to Main School when that was Main School, and then I went to the junior high and Carpinteria High School.
Oh, lovely. Homegrown.
Yes.
That's great. Wow. So tell me a little bit about kindergartners. What is the most challenging part of teaching kindergartners? 5 and 6-year-olds, correct?
The challenge would be when you have kids coming to school and they've never had school experience before. So they don't know to come to the rug and how to sit, or maybe they need help with certain holding a pencil or holding scissors. Those kind of things are the biggest challenge. But
Wow. Well,
they
so
learn
what does a
quickly.
typical day look like?
They come to school at 8, and we come right to the rug, and we do a couple songs to welcome them, and then we see who's here, and then right away we get into small groups, and we learn about our alphabet and our sounds and sight words, and then we have snack, and then recess, and then we do math, and more reading, and then lunch, and so
That's a full day.
They're there till 2 o'clock.
Wow.
No, 2:30.
And how many children do you have in your classroom each day?
I have 18 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had up to 24, but 18's a great number
Oh,
to
great.
have
24 in kindergarten?
in kindergarten, yeah.
That's a lot. So what is one of the funniest things that one of your students has ever done or said in your career?
Well, kindergartners are very literal. So this is kind of silly. I was teaching numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I was showing them the numeral. And I had a little boy, I showed the number 1, and he raised his hand. And I said, what is that? He said, that's my name. And I said, no, honey, your name's Juan. This is 1. So that was pretty funny.
That's super cute.
Very cute. Another one is just something as silly as put your lunch somewhere, and they will take out all the packaging from their lunchbox and go put it in their backpack instead of actually put the actual lunchbox in their backpack.
That's
so
super funny.
Like that.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute. So what is your favorite part of being a person of great influence, a teacher?
I really have noticed, especially teaching in kindergarten, that I see great growth in these students. They come to me not knowing how to write their name, not knowing many letters or numbers, and they leave as readers and writers. They're actually writing sentences and reading little short stories, and it's so neat to see that growth from, parents drop them off as little babies, and they're leaving school as these little young scholars.
Exactly. How exciting. So what lesson plans work particularly well for you in your classroom?
I feel like when I teach, whether it be language arts or math, if the kids have an ability to put their hands on something, and we call it hands-on experience. So learning how to add, instead of doing the paper pencil worksheet, they're actually using manipulatives to put a word problem together and solve it that way. That makes a lot of sense to them.
I'm very hands-on
Yes,
myself, so
me
I
too.
totally understand that. So you teach your children every day. What do you learn from your students?
I learn about patience, and I learn about how they appreciate everything in life. When the weather is different and it's raining, how exciting that is, and it just makes you kind of step back and take a deep breath, and it's really, really refreshing to be around these young minds that are so open to everything going on around them.
So how did you wind up in the teaching profession?
Well, my mother, Pam Densmore, was a teacher. She was the director at Kinderkirk Preschool for so many years, and I have always been involved in every job I've had since junior high with working with children. And when I was in college, I didn't declare a multi-subject credential until I was about a junior, and then I'm like, what am I doing? I love being around children, and I love working with children, so I made that change.
That's
my
super
junior year.
neat.
Yeah.
Where did you go to college?
I started my, after I graduated from Carpinteria High School in 1995, I went to San Francisco State and did a couple years there. And then I moved back down to Carpinteria, and I went to Cal State Northridge at the Channel Islands School.
I see.
I was the first graduating class from the Channel Islands site.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, thanks. That was a long time ago. But
Wonderful.
yeah, and I got my credential there, my multi-subject
Wonderful. And then
credential.
how do you keep up your curriculum? How do you continue your education?
Our district is really pushes professional development for teachers, and we have trainings. We could always ask to go to trainings. We have really, really great coworkers that I work with that we learn from each other.
Great.
And just reading things and keeping
up with all the latest trends.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely, which
Yeah.
is a full-time job in
It is.
itself.
Yes.
So I know you're super busy in the classroom, but what do you do outside of the classroom? Do you have hobbies that
Well,
you like to indulge in?
I'm a mother of 3 daughters. I have a
Wow.
21-year-old in college. She's a junior at Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz. And I have a 6-year-old, so she's at Catalina with me in first
wow.
grade. And then I have a 4-year-old. So
Oh, my
besides being a
goodness.
full-time mother,
Oh, man.
I enjoy hiking and running and being outdoors as much as possible.
Wow, you are one busy woman.
I
Wow.
don't have it any other way.
That's great. So now we're going to delve a little bit deeper. What keeps you up at night?
Besides my children,
True.
I think just worrying that I'm not meeting all my students' needs and my goal is always to get them to the next level that they could achieve academically and socially. And I also worry about students who might, if they're hungry or if they're not going to have breakfast in the morning, and that's always a worry for me, or
Sure.
if they're going home to a safe place. So as any teacher, our students are just like
Your
our own
children.
children, so we're constantly
It's
worried
very
about them.
heartwarming. What advice do you have for parents to help their children succeed, not only in your classroom, but in their life?
My big message to parents is to talk to your children. When you go to the grocery store, talk to them, have them go look for certain items in the grocery store. Use really great vocabulary with them. Describe things to them that use descriptive words. Just develop their vocabulary. Show them that you're interested in their school. Read to them. Read to your child. And just show interest in anything that they do. And let them know that you care and you want them to be successful.
Wonderful. So how can the parents help every day? What can they do to prepare their child to get them off to a good, solid start in the morning?
I think if parents set their standards high for their children, know that they could be independent, make them put their homework in their backpack by themselves, let them try to zip up their jacket by themselves. Just little independent things. Let your child take the extra moment to let them try to do those things independently.
Independent.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's great. And then what else would you like to say to the audience here about your students, about the city of Carpinteria, your relationship here with your friends and family?
I feel like I'm one of the luckiest teachers because I am able to teach in the community that I was taught in and grew up in. It's so much fun to have students in my class of friends that I've gone to school with or people that I've known, to have that connection with them. I'm very proud to be a teacher here in Carpinteria, and I wouldn't be the teacher I am today without the teachers that I work with and the teachers that I've worked with in the past and the teachers who were my teachers and taught me what a great education looks like.
I can tell by your passion you're an
I love my
amazing
job.
teacher and
I
you
love
love
my
your job. Do you have any advice or words of wisdom for your students?
To always keep true to yourself and follow your passion. Even if it's not going to make you $1 million, to follow your passion and do what you love and love yourself, have confidence in yourself, and not be afraid to ask for help if you need help.
That's wonderful. Thank
Yeah,
you,
you're
Andrea. I can
welcome.
certainly see
Thank
why
you.
you were chosen
Oh,
as
thank
one of
you.
the educators of the year, and we'll look forward to seeing you
you, Jess.
at our Community Awards Banquet on January 25th. Thank you. Hello, my name is Joyce Donaldson, and I'm President and CEO of the Carpinteria Valley Chamber of Commerce. We're thrilled to have our Community Awards Banquet coming up on January 25th at the Boys and Girls Club. And we're super excited about our Educators of the Year. And Van Latham, who's here with me today, has been named one of our 2 Educators of the Year, and he's from the high school. So tell me, what was your reaction when you heard you were selected as one of the Educators of the Year?
I was surprised and honored at the selection. It was something that I hadn't expected, and I figured be around long enough that they're going to give you something. So I was really pleased to hear about it.
Great. Well, congratulations. How long have you been in the classroom?
Oh, I would guess I'm not very good at a timeline. It's pushing 35 years now.
Wonderful. And discuss the classes that you teach.
Well, right now I'm teaching computer graphics, and I teach a senior math class in financial math. I'm also working with the leadership students, and I've just started as a technology mentor that is something sponsored through Google. So that's a new endeavor,
wow.
which is exciting and challenging at the same time.
Wow, that sounds amazing. What is your favorite part of being a person of great influence, a teacher and a coach?
Well, what I enjoy is seeing a person 5, 10, 15 years later and seeing what they've developed into. And it's really interesting to see where the students end up, what their passions become, what they're doing, and how successful they become.
Great. And what do you consider your most beneficial teaching techniques? What are your strong points?
Well, I try and keep things conceptual. I try and keep them practical. And I let the students try and take care of themselves. I try not to browbeat them. I let them discover things and be their own person. Take the consequences if they're not doing what they need to do, and learn from that, just like they're going to have to do in a couple years once they're out of school.
That's right. So do you also learn from your students? Do they teach
yes.
you valuable lessons as well?
Especially in the computer graphics class, because technology changes so quickly. Matter of fact, this year we got some 3D printers, and I've never used a 3D printer before, and we haven't had any training. But one of my students said, "Oh yeah, I know about 3D printers," so he got them set up, and
wonderful.
he is using and starting to teach us how to use the printers.
Oh, that's great. So I understand you have a long history here in Carpinteria. Would you like to expand on that today?
Well, yes, my grandfather moved to Carpinteria in the 20s, and he founded Carpinteria Valley Lumberyard. So my family's been here almost a century on my father's side. And my mother, she's been here since she graduated from college after she married my father. So our family has been part of Carpinteria for a long time, and it's really been a great experience.
Wow. Did you decide to enter into the teaching profession when you were young, right after high school?
No.
Tell us how that evolved.
It happened, I don't want to say accidentally, but it wasn't by plan. I was a mechanical engineering major in college, and when I graduated from college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I thought, I'll take a year off, have some fun. So I came back to Carpinteria and asked Lou Panazon if I could coach football. And he said, sure. And he named me the JV football coach, and I had a great time doing it. And then John Loraldi, our track coach, asked me if I'd like to coach track. And I said, oh, okay, I'll help you. And I started coaching track, and I kept making excuses to come back for another year. And after a while, I figured, well, I might as well do this right way. And I applied for my teaching credential, and a job opened up.
Wow.
And it all worked out, and I never left.
Wow. So where did you go to school?
I did my undergraduate work at Stanford University, and then I have my master's degree from Azusa Pacific.
Oh, wonderful. And then how do you keep up your continuing educational hours, professional growth, for professional growth?
Well, lately it's been through my Google Mentor program that I have really learned a lot about the digital learning classroom, and it's been kind of daunting at times, but I've really learned a lot, and I've actually changed my class style because that we're not using much paper in my classes anymore.
Oh, interesting. So you're going green.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. That sounds great. So when you're not in the classroom, I know you have a lot going on. What are you most passionate about? Do you have hobbies or family?
I like being active. I like hiking, playing basketball, riding my bike. So those are a lot of things I like to do, and I like to travel when I get a chance.
Great. And by telling about your tennis shoes, you were out and about jogging or walking and hiking a lot.
Yes.
It's got some pretty stellar tennis shoes on. So what's the value of students being involved in high school athletics?
Well, I think there's a number of values to it. I think being part of a team, something larger than themselves, where they have to consider what their actions do with everybody else, not just themselves. I think that's a very valuable part. I think it's also great for them to be able to sacrifice for a larger cause, and also I think it helps them really organize their time. I find kids that when they're in season, they have an incentive to do well in school, but also they have to structure their time a little bit more. And I think it's really good at helping them to juggle all the responsibilities that they have and that they're going to face later on.
That's so true. What advice do you have for parents to help their children succeed in life?
I think just be involved with your students. Help them to understand what they're doing now is important, and just be supportive. You don't have to know what the math equation's about, but you have to let them know that it's important, that you're interested in what they're doing, and help them find the resources to be successful.
So how can the parents help out in a day-to-day atmosphere, getting their kids off correctly to school to make them be able to learn the most they can each day?
Well, that's part of it. Attendance at school is a big factor. But also that we have many resources at Carpinteria High School, and I think we do a good job of promoting those resources. And if a student wants to be involved, I think it's important that parents support their involvement with not only with the classes, but all the extracurriculars we have, whether it be athletics or music or robotics or whatever that things we're offered, because those are going to be the things that are going to give the kids a tie-in to our high school and make them better students and more successful people.
Wonderful. And then do you have any advice or words of wisdom for your students that might be out there listening to you today?
I think the biggest thing is to stay involved, to keep learning, to be curious, and to make sure that you're every day doing something to better yourself.
Great. And then just one almost final question. What do you do to maintain your work-life balance?
Oh, that's a tough one. Sometimes the work-life balance gets skewed during, I coach football and track, and during those times it's awful busy times, and there's a lot more work than life. But during breaks or during the summer, it is nice to be able to decompress and do some of the other things that are very valuable in your life.
There's so many things to do here in this small coastal town,
Yes.
right? So for the viewers out there, do you have anything else that you'd like to say?
No, I really appreciate the opportunity to teach in Carpinteria. It's been fun. I grew up here, and I'm glad to be able to give back to the community and help others reach their goals.
Great. Well, thank you so much for interviewing today with me, Van, and we'll look forward to honoring you at the Community Awards Banquet again. That's January 25th, Saturday, at the Boys and Girls Club right here in Carpinteria. Thank you. Hi, my name is Joyce Donaldson, President and CEO of the Carpinteria Valley Chamber of Commerce. We're looking forward to our Community Awards Banquet coming up on Saturday, January 25th at the Boys and Girls Club. Today, I'm super proud and excited to have Ethan Ha from Kate School, who is one of our Junior Carpinterian of the Year finalists. Hi, Ethan. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Good.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. So when you got your letter in the mail notifying you that you were one of the finalists, what was your reaction? What did you do? Who did you tell?
I was very surprised because I just came back from tennis practice with my older brother and my friend Christian Mathis, who's the Westmont tennis coach. I was very surprised. I was really excited. It was huge for my family, particularly because we've been through a lot through the financial, and then my older brother is just he's a third year in college. He's a junior, and my little brother's also applying to private school. So it was a relief to get of the financial for sure.
Hey, well deserved. Well, tell us about your family.
Well, family's doing well. I have an older brother named Kevin, a younger brother named Adam, who's about to turn 5. So that's really exciting in February. And then I have my mom and dad who both happy, and they both work at Carpinteria Nails.
Wonderful, thank you. And what extracurricular activities are you involved in?
So I'm involved in, so I was involved in water polo in the fall. So
Wow.
I do 3 team sports. So varsity water polo, and then JV basketball right now, and then upcoming varsity tennis in the spring. And then also I'm part of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes with
Wow.
Ryan Warner, who's in town. And then also I go to Carpinteria Community Church, and also a prefect in the freshman dorm, which is kind of like a volunteer kind of leadership position that they select out of all the seniors to just, I live with the freshmen, just repeat some of the rules really nicely, and also try to just be there for them if they're feeling homesick, and then help them on their homework.
Oh, nice.
So I have the privilege of living with the freshmen this year at
That's
Cade.
great. What do you like about living in Carpinteria? I know you were born and raised in the area, but what do you like most about living here?
I love, the beautiful sunrises and then the sunsets we got at Carp Beach. I like going to, Ronaldo's Bakery and getting a breakfast burrito in the mornings.
Oh, yum.
After a good long tennis session. Or I just, spending time, walking up and down, Linden, and then just seeing everyone that I grew up with, at Carp High. And just everything being so close together, you don't have to drive too far for things, and just it's the perfect place, to spend time with family.
It's a great coastal town for sure. So you live up at Cade School.
Yeah.
And tell us what a typical day being a student at Cade School might look like.
Yeah, so everyone has kind of a different schedule. For me, I wake up around 6 o'clock, get my tennis shoes going, and usually hit the courts when the sun comes up, play tennis with my dad, and sometimes my older brother when he's home. And then I usually run back to my room around 7:45ish and shower, and then get ready for first period at 8. Then the academic day could stretch until 2:45, or sometimes I'm done at lunch, and then on to my sport. So it varies. So I was in water polo, and then this season I'm doing basketball, and then come back to the dorm, shower, and then eat dinner. Then also you get ready for study hours, which is 8 to 10. And then one of those days I'm also on duty in the dorm, making sure the freshmen are doing their homework, really focusing in. And then and then on Wednesdays I actually go volunteer in Carpinteria or Santa Barbara with Cornerstone House, which is where we go sing for underdeveloped individuals.
Oh, nice.
And then we also go to Shepherd's Place Apartments, and I usually call for the bingo there. And then also we go in Santa Barbara, I go to Path Homeless Shelter, which is we serve food for about a good hour, an hour and a half. And then also we go to Transition House, which is another place for homeless families to get resources.
Wonderful.
And then also Stevens House, which is an all men's kind of, it's for men struggling with mental illnesses, and we go there and we play bingo. We have conversations about music and then movies. So.
Oh, that's great!
So,
wow. So, what are you studying at Cade? What are some of your favorite subjects?
Yeah. So some of my favorite subjects so far have been sports medicine, physiology, anatomy with Coach Wade Ransom, who's also our athletic director.
Nice.
I'm also really enjoying my marine science class because we get to take a lot of field trips to the beach. That's with Mr. Bauma, who's also one of the football coaches. And it's something amazing about Cade is that all of the teachers are somewhat related to academics, or also involved with other upper activities at Cade. And You get really close with your teachers, outside of the classroom, and it also helps kind of the dynamic inside the classroom
Wonderful.
as well.
So you're a senior at Cade. So where are you applying for college, or where do you see yourself hopefully going
Hopefully.
to college?
Yeah, so I'm applying to some private four-year colleges, one Pomona College in Claremont, and then also applying to Occidental College, a couple UCs, UC Santa Barbara, UCLA, UC Davis, and then also applying Westmont College.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
not
And what
too
do you
far
hope to
away.
major in?
I really like business.
Oh, wonderful.
My dad wants me to study psychology. My mom wants me to do pre-med. So I'm pretty undecided right now. Wherever, I find I can make the biggest impact and have fun doing it too.
Great.
That's
So where do
dream
you
of mine.
see yourself in 10 to 15 years from now?
I wouldn't mind sticking around here, honestly. This town is amazing. People are awesome. I definitely would like to leave Carpinteria, maybe travel abroad, maybe for a semester or two in college, and somewhere maybe I love to volunteer as well. I did have a good time volunteering in Mexicali, Mexico, and I definitely would like to go back there a couple times and
Wonderful.
volunteer and pour some more concrete and work with the kids some more.
So speaking of which, if you had anywhere in the world that you could go, either on vacation or to work and or play, where would you go?
Probably back to Mexicali,
Okay.
Mexico.
Interesting.
It was a huge service trip for me, and it always holds a special place in my heart because there's two kids that I lived with while volunteering there, and I like to see them again and continue, playing soccer with them and teaching them some English, and then also volunteering at all the local schools and orphanages that we visited on our
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank
When
you.
did you get back?
So I left December 5th, 2019, and then came back on the 8th.
Oh, wow.
So it was a good 3-4.
So you just recently got
Just
back.
recently.
Wow.
And it's still fresh on my mind. Of
Right.
course.
Welcome back. Now you have to buckle down for these last few months
Oh,
of school.
yeah.
So speaking of which, what motivates you every morning when you get up?
Probably my older brother Kevin. He's also graduated Kate, and he's a junior at Skidmore College. He always pushes me to be better. Always think before I say. He also challenges me on the tennis court.
Oh, nice.
He usually wins. He wins. He always wins. But the few times I'm able to get the best of him, it's because I've tried everything. Work hard, and then I just want to make my parents proud as well. They sacrificed a lot to put me in the position I am at Kate School financially, and I'll never forget. Also. They actually immigrated to the U.S. At age 17, so same age as me right now. And without them coming to the U.S. and struggling, they were boat people, and all those years in refugee camps waiting to get their citizenship. I'll never forget what they did for me.
That's wonderful. So do you have a mentor?
Yeah, I have my biggest mentor right now is probably my academic advisor. His name is David Soto.
Oh, great.
His mom works in kind of the in town and all she's a school librarian. She was at Aliso when I went there, and he's really guided me, put me on the right path, made sure I'm doing all my work and signing up for team sports, and everyone says I'm sort of becoming more and more like him, and I'm glad because he's such a positive light in my life.
Oh, great, great. So going back to tennis, do you have a USTA rating?
Yeah, so my highest ranking when I was about 12, I was breaking the top 15. Now kind of in the 18 unders, I'm around 60 in Southern California. And also for kind of on the tennis recruiting, I'm about 80th in California.
Wow.
And so
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. I'll be looking for you at Roland Garros one year.
I'm not sure. I'm more like a Division III athlete. I'm getting recruited for Division III tennis, and it's exciting for me because I get to focus a lot on school and also a big part on.
Right.
I get to enjoy tennis at a really high level, And it's been always a dream of mine to play college tennis.
So when you're looking at schools, you're also
Yes.
looking at the tennis
Yeah, I've
program.
been talking with the coaches, sending them all my records and trying to do as many tournaments as possible so they can come see me.
Oh, wonderful. If you were to meet a stranger on the street and you were going to tell them what your favorite thing about Carpinteria is, what would you say?
Well, like right now, it's probably the sand dunes at Carpinteria. They're really big, and you can run up them, and then it's really good conditioning. And I spend time with Ryan Warner, who's also the FCA person in Carpinteria, and we just get to spend time. My older brother usually does it with me, and just spending time at the beach. Get around sand dunes, hop in the ocean, and then get on with the rest of the day is a great start. So,
wonderful.
favorite
Sounds
thing.
like you're really busy during the day. And do you sleep at night, or is there issues that might keep you up at night?
So I try to sleep at night. Sometimes I'll have since I live in the freshman dorm, maybe a freshman will knock on my door if he's not feeling well.
Okay.
And obviously I gotta make sure he gets to the health center up at school or maybe someone will knock on my door just looking to talk. I'm always down. I might be a little like confused or cranky when I wake up, like what? But I try to just remember, have them come in, take a seat, just talk it through whatever they're going through, and
Very
that's
sweet.
that's I'm don't need sleep. I'll catch up in the summer. I'll stay like 6 or 7 hours during the school year, so it's okay.
Great. And then do you have a personal motto or mantra, philosophy that you live your life by?
Kind of like dream big and work hard. My older brother reminds me that every day. You gotta have a dream to know what you want to do in life, and it's working hard gets you to those dreams, and it's always something that's always stuck in my mind.
Great. And then what do you think that your strengths are? What do you have to offer the next, the college or the world?
I think some of my strengths are kind of just being patient. Really, I think I work well under stress.
Wonderful.
Being a tennis player, sometimes again those really close moments, and then I've used that and been able to translate that to schoolwork and also tough situations at home. Being able to when I was like 13, I was entrusted to watch my younger brother Adam for a day while my parents had like a really busy day at the nail salon, and I was panicking because he was crying and I didn't know what to do. So I ended up just working through everything, like swallowing him in the blanket or giving him the pacifier. Nothing was working, but like I found out he likes to be in the rocking chair and just singing, a little like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something, and so just trying to find a solution for something.
So you were developing critical thinking skills.
Yeah, trial and error. You gotta fail to succeed sometimes.
Right.
So
Wonderful. Well, I know we've covered a lot of topics here today, but is there something that perhaps you'd like to tell the audience that we might not have mentioned?
I can't say like enough how thankful I am for my mom and dad. They currently are working right now. They usually start working at the nail salon around 8 in the morning and come home sometimes late, like 7 or 8 at night. And I rarely see them sometimes until they come home, but I know that they're working hard to provide for their 3 kids and everything they've been through. Immigrating to the U.S. and all their struggles. It'll always resonate with me. And then also like to thank the chamber for awarding me this honor, and just thank the city of Carpinteria for being my home. Whenever I compete in tournaments, the place that shows up next to my name is Carpinteria. Where is this guy from? Like, where is Carpinteria? And I always explain to them it's the best town ever. And
wonderful.
It's a place for everyone where everyone can feel welcome too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Wishing you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Allison.
Thank you. And be sure to come and see who is awarded the big Junior Carpinterian of the Year scholarship at our Community Awards Banquet on January 25th, Saturday, at the United Boys and Girls Club of Carpinteria. Thank you. Hello. Hello, my name is Joyce Donaldson. I'm the Carpinteria Valley Chamber of Commerce President and CEO. We're super pleased today to have Emily Calkins here today from Kate School, and Emily is one of our 3 Junior Carpinterian of the Year finalists. We'll be celebrating Emily as well as the other 2 junior finalists at our Community Awards Banquet on January 25th at the Boys and Girls Club. Hi Emily, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I feel very honored.
So how did you find out, and who were you with when you found out that you were being honored with the finalist award?
So it was the day after Christmas because I was visiting my grandma, and we walked into the house and my mom, my sister, and my dad were all there, and we checked the mailbox, and there was obviously a lot of mail because we'd been gone for a couple days, and I saw the letter that was from the Chamber of Commerce, and I ripped it open, and my mom started dancing up and down the hallway and jumping, and I was so excited because it was good news. So that was very, very exciting.
Great. So tell us a little bit about where you were born and raised.
So I was born in the Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, but I've lived in Carpinteria most of my life, and I started at Canalino in 1st grade. So I've been here a long time, which I'm very grateful for, and I went through the public school system until high school, where I was very fortunate to have a scholarship to go to Kate School, which is where I'm at right now.
Wonderful. So what does your typical day at Kate School look like?
It's very long. It goes on forever, but it's always very enriching. So I go up for breakfast at 7:30, which is always super yummy, and hot food's so much better than cold cereal at home. So I start classes at 8, and I'm really enjoying my anthropology class right now, and we've gotten to do some ethnographic research and interview people, which is very interesting. And I'm also in an advanced art class, which is super cool because it's very independent, and so we get this very vague prompt, but we get to make whatever we want out of it. And after school, which gets out around 2:30, I have sports until 5. So in the fall, I'm in the outdoors program, so we get to go kayaking and stand-up paddleboarding,
Nice.
and being in the outdoors just really is my cup of tea, and I just feel very refreshed when I'm outdoors. And in the winter, I'm on the junior varsity soccer team as goalie, and it's super fun. The team dynamic is amazing. And in the spring, I'm on the lacrosse team, which is something that before I went to Kate, I didn't even know lacrosse existed. And then I saw videos, I'm like, what are they doing? Like running around with sticks, like this is so unsafe. But then I tried it out, and it was so fun, and I've done it all 4 years of my Kate career. So
Great.
after sports, I'm going to keep going because it's super long. After sports, I have club meetings like Round Square, MUN, and different fun clubs that I'm at in school. And then I get home around 7 or 8 to do homework. And then I'm just knocked out after that, and I fall asleep super quick.
Oh, wow. That's great. So I know you're super busy with school. Do you have any time to do any sort of hobbies that just are of interest to you?
I definitely think if you're passionate about something, you can always carve away time for it. And so I think one of the biggest things that I'm passionate about is service and giving back to my community. And I am a 12-year Girl Scout, and I've been a Girl Scout since kindergarten. It's been such an amazing experience. And even though my Kate life is so busy, I always try to reach out and go beyond just the Kate bubble and give back to the Carpinterian community because they totally have raised me, and I've been here. And so I do a lot with my Girl Scout troop, giving back. We always do an annual food drive, and just engaging with the community, and it's really rewarding.
Right. And when we were speaking prior to the interview, you were talking about your global engagement. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think global engagement is so important because there's so much you can learn from people that are different from you, have different backgrounds and opinions, and just if you go beyond that first, like maybe it's an awkward conversation or something that strikes you as unusual, you can learn so much from somebody with a different background. And I've kind of tried to take that in heart with my Girl Scout Gold Award, which I did 2 years ago in a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Italy. Yeah, so it was very beautiful, but it took me a long time to get there. I was babysitting for almost 3 years, raising money for it because I paid for my own plane ticket and all the fees.
Wow.
And once I got there, I was mentored by a lady named Layli, an Italian old woman who was I learned so much from her, and she was amazing. And we rebuilt these terraces holding up the village because it was hit with a mudslide just like ours. And so when I heard that, I was so moved because I'd gone through the same thing living in Carpinteria and having the Montecito mudslide so close. And we're lucky enough here to have all these programs helping the families and getting their houses rebuilt, and just a lot of unity in the community, even though that rhymes. So when I went back to Italy and saw that there were still homes destroyed, I wanted to get to the root of the problem, which was the terraces behind the village were unstable, and so I wanted to rebuild those and make it secure so when the next storm comes, everybody would be safe in the village.
Wow, it's very admirable. Describe your family. They live here. What do your parents do? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, so I have one little sister. She's 12, and she's so sweet. She really loves our 2 pets. I have a black lab and a little kitten, and they just mean the world to my sister. My mom works at the Carpinteria Arts Center, Christina Culkin. She's amazing, very inspiring, and she does so much. She kind of is a role model to what it means to invest in the community and really be involved, and so I've looked up to her a lot. My dad, Miles, he works at Avantar in Carpinteria as well. I'm so blessed that both of my family lives close, and so there's no long commutes, and so I love spending time with him, and he's really been a mentor. Something that I do outside of Kate, usually more on the summers, but I have an old Jeep, and I've built it up with my dad because he used to work on cars, and so if you see an orange car driving around Carp, and you'll probably see me in it because my hair matches my car, which I really like. You know that me and my dad built it.
Oh, that's very sweet. Wonderful. So after Kate School, you'll be going off to college. What colleges are you applying for, or do you hope to be able to secure?
Yeah, so I've applied to 14 colleges, which is so crazy, and it's a relief to finally have submitted all of them and press the submit button. But I definitely have applied to colleges all around the United States, from New England to New Orleans to Washington, and some in California as well. I just want to be in an environment that's super diverse, hopefully a little urban. Just living in Carpinteria so long, it's pretty small, and so I want something a little different and have different voices and people that I can interact with. But I've applied to quite a lot and quite a bunch of different universities just to get outside my comfort zone and try to engage with other communities as well.
Great. And what will you major in?
So I haven't finalized my decision just because there's so much that I'm curious about, but on most of my applications I said communications and media, just because I want to combine my love for photography and art and media with my passion for engaging with people and having meaningful conversations and kind of making an impact with what I can learn from other people. Yeah.
So looking into the future, where do you see yourself in 10 to 15 years? Like, what type of job do you hope to attain? Or are you not there yet?
Well, I definitely would say my dream job would kind of be working at an online magazine like Thrillist or BuzzFeed or something like that. So writing articles and hopefully traveling. I want to travel the world for sure. And taking photos and writing about my experiences and kind of sharing that with the world and kind of telling the stories that don't get told and really bringing to light topics that I think more people should know about.
Great. And speaking of travel, where have you traveled to, and what are some of the places that you aspire to travel to in the future?
So last summer I was an exchange student to Peru with my school's program Round Square. And so I've hosted, it's kind of astonishing, I've hosted 26 exchange students, which is a whole nother story. Just my house has been super open to the international community, which is super fun, and it's experience even though it can be super crowded sometimes. But I loved being in Peru just because of the vibrant culture, and I got to work on my Spanish, and it was just a very empowering experience. I definitely would say if I could go somewhere in the future, I'd love to go to India or Thailand, just because
interesting.
I recently did a project in my art class that was talking about photojournalism and how like one picture can like kind of say 1,000 words. I know that's kind of cheesy, but I was moved by this photojournalism project that was talking about like human trafficking and stuff, and just I think photography can really make a difference in somebody's life and bring to light issues that kind of are hidden under the rug sometimes. And so I really want to make a difference wherever I go. Just like in my trip to Italy, I went there knowing that I wanted to make an impact in somebody's life, and I definitely want to do that in Southeast Asia too, because it's such a vibrant area, and the food's great, and there's so much that can be improved as well.
Right. So what motivates you every day when you get up?
I think what motivates me is the opportunities that I've been given in my life. I feel very privileged with the scholarships that I've been given and stuff, and kind of my motto for that, what keeps me going, is to try to take advantage of every opportunity I'm given. And sometimes that's to my detriment because I'm so busy and I'm so tired, I'm doing so much. But because of that, I've had so many experiences that I'll never forget in my whole life, because even if it tires me out, it's so worth like booking my schedule to try different things and have amazing experiences.
Right. So if you were to change, or you could make a change in Carpinteria, your hometown, is there anything that you specifically see that you would like to change?
So, well, I have to start out to say that I already think Carpinteria is an amazing town, so there's not much to improve, but one small thing that I think would be amazing in Carpinteria is a dog park. There's, my little sister Evelyn just earned her Girl Scout Silver Award, trying to get the community together to find a place and to advocate for Carpinteria needing a dog park. But I just know how invigorating it is spending time with my pet, and I think that Carpinteria would benefit from a dog park.
Wonderful. What do you think the biggest problem is facing our country right now, and why?
Well, I'm definitely passionate about sustainability and sustainable lifestyles, and I get frustrated sometimes with the food waste problem in America. I think we can, like, I have my own garden in my backyard, and so I think once you've raised your own food, it's so much harder to throw away scraps, and so that's why we have a compost and everything. But when you go to a grocery store and everything's little packaged in little plastic portions, it's so much easier to just put it down the drain or in the garbage can. And so I think that's one thing that I definitely want to improve in America, is how we deal with food and how we dispose of it. And we could do so much better and give it to homeless shelters or schools even for lunches. So.
Absolutely. Who would you consider your mentor?
Janie Cohen was definitely a mentor during middle school especially. I was in the middle school and I was just like dipping my toes into the art world, and I was involved in the teen mural project at the Arts Center over the summer, and just I had obviously never painted a mural before. That's something you don't get to do very often. And so she kind of started my passion for art. And so when I was in the middle school, and I was a little bummed that there was no art as an elective, and so I worked with her and started a program where we had art during lunch like every Friday, and we'd bring different art projects and set it up in a classroom, and everybody was invited. And so she kind of instilled in me this like, if you see something that you want to improve, you should like go and try and do it yourself. And it's so much more gratifying than just waiting for somebody else to do it. Just to step up and try to do your best and make an impact yourself.
That's wonderful. We were talking a little bit about civic engagement. Is there something else that you'd like to say about what you're doing to make the world a better place?
Well, kind of as the last female in the in the finals of the Junior Carpinteria of the Year, I've done a lot. It always inspires me to watch the younger generation of girls grow up in Girl Scouts, and especially I was super honored to be one of the students going on the Tech Trek summer camp to UCSB all the way back when I was in middle school. It's a week-long STEM science camp for overnight camp for girls, and I was so blown away and so inspired that I applied a couple summers later to be a counselor, and so I kind of gave back to that program, and it was super inspiring to see those girls come like kind of in my footprints, and see them go through the week and come out super confident, and sitting through chemistry lectures and seeing like super cool science experiments and doing solar powered remote control cars, and like I could see it click in their mind that like, oh, I can do this too, like this is something that I want to do in my future. And I think that's something that I really am inspired by, and what keeps me going, that I know there's going to be a new generation that's just going to keep improving.
Wonderful. So in conclusion, is there anything that you'd like to say to the audience that we may not have covered?
I definitely would like to say thank you to this community. I feel so blessed to live up and grow up in this community that's so welcoming, and it's always been so supportive in whatever community project that I've started, or even when I'm selling Girl Scout cookies, everybody's so nice. And I joke that you can't go into the grocery store in Carpinteria without seeing at least like 2 people. And so that's just the kind of environment that I've grown up in, and I feel very lucky. And I'd also like to thank my family for being so supportive, especially this year. I've really felt the most close to them. And all the opportunities that Kate has given me, it's really cultivated who I am and inspired what I want to do in the future.
Well, thank you so much, Emily. You're such an inspiration. Best of luck to you. Thank you, and we'll look forward to seeing Emily and the other 2 Junior Carpinteria of the Year finalists at the Community Awards Banquet on January 25th. That's in a few weeks, Saturday at the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you. Hello, my name is Joyce Donaldson, and I'm President and CEO of the Carpinteria Valley Chamber of Commerce. We're excited that our Community Awards Banquet is coming up on Saturday, January 25th, and we'll be recognizing our 3 Junior Carpinteria of the Year finalists. Today, I have with me here Esteban Zapata, and he is one of our finalists from Carpinteria High School. Hi, how are you?
Good, how about you?
I'm well, thank you. Well, tell us, when you received the information that you were a finalist, what did you do? Who did you tell?
It was awesome. I opened it right after Christmas, so it was just like another Christmas present I received. It's pretty cool. I opened it with my mom, and she was just happy to see me happy too.
Oh,
yeah.
Great. Great.
Yeah.
So you go to Carpinteria High School.
Yeah.
Tell us about your typical day at the high school.
Typical day, I have 6 periods I usually go through, and I go through calculus, and then some anthropology, and then English, and then my physics, and then And my favorite class is engineering and band.
Oh, nice. What, do you play instruments?
Yeah, I play the electric bass.
Oh, wow. Nice. So is that a hobby of yours as well?
Yeah.
Do you have other hobbies?
I'm really into sports, and I'm in a sport every season.
Oh,
in school.
wonderful.
Yeah.
What type of sports do you play?
In the fall, I play cross country, and in the winter, basketball, and in the spring, tennis.
Wow, you are busy. So what are some of your favorite subjects that you study in school?
Subject is definitely band, because I just like playing the bass. It's really fun, and to play all together, it sounds really cool. Especially when we do our concert. It's awesome just to see the audience faces and just like enjoy the music.
Great. We'll have to recruit you for the talent show here in Carpinteria. So tell us a little bit about your family.
My family, we're really close. We try to be together all the time. My parents usually go to my sport events or band concerts, whatever I have, as much as they can, but they do work, so they try their best.
Wonderful. You have brothers, sisters?
Yeah, we both play sports, so we're always busy
Oh,
at
wow.
school. So
Two brothers,
Yeah.
and both in sports. Your parents are busy, as well as you are. So what do you like most about living in Carpinteria?
I like how we're so small and like everyone knows each other. So it's just easy just to go on the street and say hi to your neighbor, because I have a few friends that live close by to me, and just say hi to them when I leave my house. So.
Were you born and raised in Carpinteria?
Yeah, born at Cottage Hospital. And just lived here
What
my whole
schools
life.
did you go to?
Canalino Elementary, then Carp Middle, then now Carp High.
Oh, wonderful. Great. And what are your future plans? Where are you applying for college?
Future plans, I have applied to UCs and CSUs, and I plan to study in computer science.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Super. So every day when you get out of bed, what motivates you?
Usually, my parents just usually they push me to succeed and to whatever I'm doing, and yeah.
Great. And then do you have a personal motto or philosophy?
Personal motto, well, I would just say I work hard to succeed in like everything I do. So in classes, I try my best to study for tests, and in sports, practice makes perfect. So just as much practice as you could do to get that A, or yeah.
Great. Well, that's very admirable. Do you have a mentor?
Mentor would probably be my parents, my mom and dad. Once again, they just push me to just succeed, and they really motivate me to get good grades, and yeah.
Good. Great. And then tell us where you would like to be in, say, 10 to 15 years with your career.
10 or 15 years, I would probably want to be back here in Carp, and as I said, in computer science, I would have a degree in that, and so I would love to work at Procore. And just,
oh, wonderful. We do have connections.
Yeah.
We know Carpinteria is an amazing place to live, but is there one thing that you would like to see that Carpinteria might not offer to either youth, seniors, adults?
Yeah, I would love to see like some sort of rec center, or just some sort of environments that we could all hang out, like probably high schoolers or older age kids, just to hang out, probably play sports or like play games and stuff.
Wonderful. So what extracurricular activities are you involved in currently?
Yeah, I'm in a ton. One is Interact Club, which is connected to Rotary, and we do a bunch of projects that connect in an international basis and a local basis, and it's just awesome to help out the community. And also in Habitat for Humanity, another club, I get to help out at the Resource Center over in Goleta, and just organize over there. Just earlier, and when the fires happened, I helped like rebuild a home because of the Montecito mudslides. Just helped over there, and it just felt good to help out.
Great.
And I'm also in Mesa, which is a STEM-based club, and I'm really into technology and engineering, so it's awesome just to create projects and with my friends, and like at the end we present it at Mesa Day in UCSB, and we're lucky enough to win awards each year. Like my freshman year, my friends and I coded a game, which I was lucky enough to go to the state regionals level, and we got 3rd place in the state.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Do you have a favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher would be Miss Unruh. She's my band teacher.
Oh, wonderful.
I've had her for 4 years now. It's just lucky to have her. She's really on top of things. She also runs the yearbook, which I'm in also.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
and
it. That's so fun.
yeah, we're usually in groups and create the pages and design, write down whatever's in there.
Fantastic. What do you think the biggest problem that's facing our country right now?
Biggest problem, I would just have to say that political leaders don't really listen to each other. They just kind of want to listen to themselves and just don't open their ears and don't really want to compromise with each other. Just want to do what think that's best for their country. Yeah.
I know you're super busy with your schoolwork and your extracurricular activities and sports, but do you have any spare time? And if you do, is there something in particular that you like to indulge in?
Yeah, I usually love to play video games, just usually with my friends online, and then just hang out with them outside of school at like the beach or watch a movie together.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. And then in conclusion, is there something that maybe you would like to say to the audience that we haven't covered here today?
I would have to say that we're all pretty lucky to live in Carpinteria because we just have a beautiful environment. We have the beach right there. We have awesome mountains over there. And also, I would love to thank my parents for always encouraging me to do new things, get me out of my comfort zone, and loving me and just pushing me to do whatever I can.
Wonderful. It's been such a pleasure to meet you
Thank
today.
you.
Congratulations
Thank
and
you.
best luck on all of your future endeavors.
Thank you.
You'll see all of our Junior Carpinterian of the Year finalists at our Community Awards Banquet coming up on January 25th at the Boys and Girls Club. It's a Saturday and it begins at 5:30. Thank you.